independent in thought, and punk rock in life. It's The Chad Benson Show.
And my name is Greg Knapp. I'm in for Chad on The Chad Benson Show. Lots of ways that you can be a part of it. First, you can go see the all-new Chad Benson website, thechadshow.com. You can check him out on Twitter. Of course, that's his main mode of communication, I believe, now. And that's real easy. You just go to @ChadBensonShow. And you can always just join the program and tell everybody what you think. 844-DIG-CHAD, 844-DIG-CHAD. So let me first get you updated on what's going on with Notre Dame. And the good news is that they've saved a bunch of stuff. The bad news is that fire was crazy. Now, so far, they're saying they have not seen any evidence that it was arson. However, they have opened an investigation into it. They haven't been able to get in there and see everything they wanted to see until they made sure that the structure was actually sound and not going to collapse on everybody. But the good news is they saved a lot of stuff. 50 people are working on whether or not this thing was started by arson or what it was started by. Only one firefighter injured. Thankfully, the fire started after the building was closed to the public for the night. So we'll keep you updated on what they found in terms of the cause of the fire. But they did find some photos that were able to be taken without going inside, showed that only a small part of the vault collapsed and the interior seemed to be relatively untouched. There were rows of wooden pews and much of the nave that appeared to be intact. Now, the cathedral roof, big problems. You look at the spire, fell over, of course, the roof virtually destroyed. It's a bad time, but the mayor of Paris said the altar and the cross are preserved. Not as bad as I feared. They also said the crown of thorns was preserved. So there's good news. Father Fournier in there. He is the chaplain for the Paris firefighters. And he ran into the burning building and tried to pull out whatever he could. And a bunch of firefighters and some of the police officers formed a human chain, and they were handing out, just bam, 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 precious artworks as fast as they possibly could. The crown of thorns, the tunic of St. Louis, lots of stuff they could get, artwork, all kinds of stuff. So they were saving that. The Blessed Sacrament was saved. Lots of good news coming out of there. But again, as I said, so far, no sign of arson. Now, there is a report that alarm was raised 23 minutes before the blaze was detected. So why couldn't they have stopped it sooner? I don't know. It's going to take a lot of time to figure all this out. The president of France, Macron, says, we're going to rebuild. Of course, could take decades to rebuild it. And, of course, ISIS had to jump in, and they're celebrating it as punishment. Nice, huh? Well, it's ISIS. I mean, come on. It's ISIS. What do you expect? The ISIS fanatics revel in Notre Dame's destruction days before Easter. ISIS-affiliated propaganda group made a heartless poster of the Inferno in Paris. It was accompanied by a cruel message bidding au revoir to Notre Dame. And the world mourned, of course, as the 850-year-old cathedral erupted in flames. They're ruling out terror for now. But, of course, they will continue to investigate. So there you go, an update on what's happening with Notre Dame. We'll continue to keep you up to date. If new information comes, we will let you know. But there's some good news. I mean, after yesterday seeing everything that happened, you need a little bit of good news on that, don't you? Did you watch any of Bernie Sanders at the town hall yesterday? Now, there's something that I really noticed that I wanted to start with before we get into the details. And I've got some great sound from Bernie Sanders and some sound from the questions from Brett Baer and Martha McCullum from Fox News. Fox News did it. And people say, oh, Bernie went on Fox News. What a brave thing to do. What do you say? It's Brett Baer and Martha McCullum. He didn't go on with Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson. See, a lot of the lefties love to make it seem like Fox News is basically what MSNBC is, but on the right. It's not. Fox News Channel has opinion shows that are very conservative. Their news is more down the middle than any other news on TV. Oh, come on, Greg, that's ridiculous. Okay, wait a second. That's not me saying it. That's study after study that's been done on the cable news networks and the main networks' nightly news when they look at the number of positive stories and negative stories about the big people in the news. And Fox News, time after time after time, has been more down the middle, their news coverage, than any other network and any other cable news network. Time after time after time. Now, when you get into the opinion shows, that's a different situation. Bret Baier does a news show. Martha McCallum's show is much more news-focused. I haven't watched hers as much as I've watched Bret Baier's, but I watch Bret Baier's pretty much every night. Special report with Bret Baier. Because the first 40 minutes of the show is news. Then the last 20 minutes is an opinion panel. So I don't think it took great courage for Bernie Sanders to go on with Bret Baier and Martha McCallum. Especially because Fox News, to its credit, allowed in an awful lot of Democrats and people who support Bernie Sanders. Democrats, socialists, and some Republicans were all in that room. And you can tell because they cheered everything Bernie said. And they even kind of moaned and booed a little bit some of the questions that were asked when it got a little too hot for Bernie. And let me tell you something. If you've ever spoken in front of a group, you know this is true. If you're in a room and what you say gets applauded, man, you start to get energy. You start to flow. You start to just let your ideas out. You start to it just kind of snowballs in a positive direction. And this energy, you're feeding off the crowd and you're giving it back to them. I mean, it's like a drug. I mean, I've done talk radio for 21 years. I've done all kinds of talks to my listeners, talks to groups that support me. And I've given a talk or two to groups that I knew going in, they didn't agree with me. And this was going to be a hostile crowd. And there were going to be some things that I said that they weren't going to like. And let me tell you something. It makes a huge difference if you're getting booed or if you're getting cheered on how you feel. And if you're confident and if you're going to let your ideas flow or not. And Bernie was getting cheered. Bernie was on a roll. Bernie was doing well. He had his message. He was getting it out there. He was knocking it out if you're a socialist. I mean, he was knocking it out of the park if you're a progressive. He was really, really good if you're a liberal Democrat. His performance was good, especially for his age. And he was buoyed by the support of his crowd. Now, if you actually looked and listened to the policies he was putting forth, and you actually believe in the founding documents of the United States of America, you would hate just about everything he said. See, this is why we've got to teach our children about the idea of America. The idea of America is not that everybody has an equal outcome. It's that everybody was created equally. Nobody said, remember when you were a kid and you said, Mama, this isn't fair. And your mom said, who told you life was fair? Well, Bernie Sanders did. Well, at least it's supposed to be. According to Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and AOC and Nancy Pelosi and all the far lefties, they want you to believe life is supposed to be fair. And their definition of fair is that everyone gets the same outcome regardless of their input. Doesn't matter how hard you worked. Doesn't matter how many years you went to school. Doesn't matter how much risk you took with your own money. Doesn't matter what obstacles you had to overcome. Doesn't matter. You shouldn't make any more money than other people do. I mean, everybody should make the same. Now, they don't always say that. They try to catch it. No, we're just saying they should pay their fair share. That's not what they mean. And I'll explain that in a little bit because guess what? Already, people who earn more money are paying more than their fair share. We have a very progressive tax code. And what that means is, of course, the more you make, the more you pay. And not just the more money you pay, but the higher percentage of your money that you pay. And it's already extremely progressive. You realize our tax code is more progressive than most of Europe. You wouldn't know that listening to Bernie. You would think that somehow, if you make more than 80 grand, you must be ripping off the world. Or at least your next door neighbor. Now, Bernie's a millionaire, though. How does Bernie justify that? Oh, wait till you hear it. Wait till you hear it. So we get Bernie's tax returns finally. What do you mean finally? Well, I'm just saying he's been calling for Trump's for forever, and he ran for president last time, and he didn't release them. This time he's finally releasing them because he couldn't dodge it anymore because he's been calling for Trump's for so long. Quite honestly, I could not care less to see a presidential candidate's tax records. To me, that should be one of the most sacred things in the United States of America as far as our government goes. That the only person who has the right to see your taxes is the IRS. I don't have the right to see your tax return. You don't have the right to see mine. I don't need to see it. If the IRS says you're okay, then you paid your taxes. Done. Now, if you're being audited because they think you're cheating and they find out you're cheating, then I want to know if you're running for president. Other than that, I don't care. Maybe that's just me. But so Bernie's comes out. So since they came out, we'll take a look. Find out he gave about 3.6% to charity. Now, why would I even mention that? Well, Bernie's a guy that's out here trying to act like if you make, too much money, that you should have to pay your fair share because you're basically cheating the rest of us. You're taking our money. It's really our money. It's really the government's money. But now Bernie's a millionaire and we get his tax returns and we find out he only gave 3.6% to charity. Now, listen, that's not bad for the average person. You don't have to give any to charity if you don't want to. But you're not running for president. Bernie is. Bernie ran for president 6 years ago. He knew this day was going to come. Especially last year, he knew this day was going to come. You'd think he'd donate more than 3.6% to charity since everybody's going to see it. And he's complaining about how the rich aren't paying their so-called fair share. 3.6% to charity? He's now a millionaire. His adjusted gross income last year, along with his wives, was $561,293. 26% effective tax rate. Only a 26% tax? Shouldn't he be at the 35% tax rate with that? About $382,920 of that came from his books that he's written. Now, over the last 2 years, since he challenged for the presidency, the nomination to the presidency of Hillary Clinton's party, he and his wife have earned more than $2.79 million. In 2016, $1,062,000. In 2017, $1,131,000. And guess what? The Trump tax cut helped him. The year before he decided to run for president, he only made $240,000 with his wife. Now here's a question. Well, now that he's this millionaire, is he paying his so-called fair share? Wait till you hear how he answers this question. I've got the audio for you. We'll hit that in just a second. Do you think it matters that Bernie Sanders is now a millionaire? And do you think that he's a hypocrite for not paying his so-called fair share that he keeps demanding from those evil millionaires and billionaires, according to him? 844-DIG-CHAD. Get you on board the program. 844-DIG-CHAD. My name's Greg Knapp filling in. This is the Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
And my name is Greg Knapp. I'm in for Chad on the Chad Benson Show. We're talking about the big town hall in Pennsylvania with Bernie Sanders. Fox News handled it, and we've got some great audio from this because Bernie has released his tax returns, and it shows Bernie is now part of that evil 1%. I love Bernie even said, I've never vilified millionaires or billionaires. I've just said they should pay their fair share. Man, all you got to do is go back and listen to some of Bernie's talks. He vilifies millionaires and billionaires till no end. They talk about how they've gotten rich by taking advantage of other people, exploiting the worker. That it just doesn't make sense that these people should be making so much more money and you're not. That's vilifying them. Hey, if it was somebody like Ilhan Omar, you might even say, if I was one of those millionaires and billionaires, that Bernie Sanders is trying to incite violence against me. It's because, if you criticize somebody and you're a Republican, you're trying to incite violence against them. But Bernie Sanders can say whatever he wants. One of his supporters can shoot and try to kill a U.S. congressperson and really wanted to wipe out all the Republicans at that baseball game and had nothing to do with Bernie Sanders. No, there was no inciting violence from Bernie Sanders' side or any of the progressives or the far lefties. But if some Republican criticizes Miss Omar for saying the terrorists on 9/11, just some people did something, then you're trying to incite violence. You see how this works? You got to keep up. I know it's hard to play the double standard game, but that's all they do. So here it comes again. Bernie all over these millionaires and billionaires. They don't pay their fair share. Top 1%. They're horrible, awful, evil people. And now he's one. And it shows that he only paid 3.6% of his income to charity. And he paid a effective tax rate of 26%. Isn't that interesting? So Brett Baer points this out, cut 16 here, where he's talking about what Sanders has earned and what he's doing with the money. Here we go.
Your taxes do show that you're a millionaire. You did make $1 million in 2016, 2017. You're right, the 561 in 2018. But your marginal tax rate was 26% because of President Trump's tax cuts. So why not say, I'm leading this revolution. I'm not going to take those.
That's a pretty good question, isn't it? Because, listen, you can give more money to the United States Treasury than you have to. At the bottom of your tax return, there's a little box for it. You want to give more money to Uncle Sam because you just think that Uncle Sam needs more of your money. I mean, you want to pay your fair share. 26% when you made over $500,000, that doesn't sound like your fair share. Bernie, why didn't you just write in that you were going to spend some more money for old Uncle Sam? I mean, come on, do your patriotic duty and just give a little more. Here's Bernie's answer.
Come on, we're doing... I paid the taxes.
He was kind of stumbling there, wasn't he? He started with a pff. And again, he was blessed with a crowd that was there to support him. The crowd started laughing, not at Bernie. They were laughing at the question because Bernie was laughing at the question. So they were kind of jumping in and kind of supporting Bernie and laughing. I mean, what kind of a question is that? I mean, that's ridiculous. But that's what they're demanding of everybody else who's in the top 1%. And by the way, the top 1%ers are paying more than their fair share. I'll get you the details on that in just a second. So that's just a little, I wanted to play the whole answer from Bernie, but I wanted you to just get a little taste of how it started. But he said, hey, why not pay more and say I'm leading the charge, I'm leading the revolution, I'll voluntarily pay a higher tax rate. We'll get you that in just a second. I want to let you hear the entire answer to that question. And it really does have that question of why didn't you just give more to charity? Then we'll talk about the wealth tax. So much to do. 844-DIG-CHAD. My name's Greg Knapp.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Your taxes do show that you're a millionaire. You did make $1 million in 2016, 2017. You're right, the 561 in 2018. But your marginal tax rate was 26% because of President Trump's tax cuts. So why not say, I'm leading this revolution. I'm not going to take those.
Oh, no. Brett Baer asking Bernie Sanders, you're a millionaire. Why are you taking the Trump tax cut? Why couldn't you pay your fair share? My name's Greg Knapp. I'm in for Chad Benson. 844-DIG-CHAD. Get you on board. 844-DIG-CHAD. Do you think Bernie's paying his fair share? He's doing an effective tax rate of 26%. He made over $500,000 last year, made over $1 million the last 2 years each year. And he's only giving 3.6% to charity. Is he giving his fair share, America? And here's his long response. Cut 18, please.
Come on, we're doing... I paid the taxes that I owe. And by the way, why don't you get Donald Trump up here and ask him how much he pays in taxes?
Yeah. He still didn't answer the question. Why didn't you give more? I mean, there's nothing stopping you from doing it. You can just put it right in there in the little box at the bottom of your tax return. Why didn't you give more? So his answer is Trump. That'll work with his base. Is that going to work with the rest of America? Well, but look at Trump. So you're the one calling for higher taxes. You're the one calling for a wealth tax. You're the one who says millionaires and billionaires don't pay their fair share. Not Trump. We're talking about you. You're running for president. Why didn't you pay more when you could have to lead this charge? And he never answers because there is no good answer for that. The real answer is he wanted to keep the money. He earned it. which I would have said, great answer, Bernie. And it's the same thing for every other millionaire and billionaire who earned it. Because they paid what was due, and they're keeping the rest because they earned it. Or in many instances, they give away more. In fact, Brett Baer went on to talk about that, cut 19.
Last question on this. A lot of millionaires and billionaires give a ton to charity. You gave 3.4%.
Yeah. My wife and I do give money to charity. All right? And we're proud to do what we did. There are others, you're quite right. There are people, Gates Foundation, do a phenomenal job. We do what we do.
It's not just the Gates Foundation. 3.4% is not very good for charity when you're running for president of the United States of America and you complain that the rich people aren't paying their fair share and you had a 26% effective tax rate. 3.4%? I thought it was 3.6%. I was wrong. 3.4%? That's it? That's it? And then your excuse is, well, we're not Bill Gates. I'll admit that. Not Bill Gates. There's an awful lot of Christians that make an awful lot less than you, and they tithe to their church and charities 10% of their income. People who make 20, 30, 40 grand. People who make 100,000. People who make $1 million. People who make 10 million who tithe 10% of their income. 3.4%, Bernie. Nice. But that's not all. And by the way, I mean, really, think about that for a second. Why only 3.4% for charity? And why didn't he voluntarily pay more taxes to the United States of America? I mean, why not lead and show what a true American patriot would do? Or if you don't trust our government to spend your money wisely, which I totally get, but you don't seem to, then why not give the difference in the Trump tax cut, your fair share, to charity? And in fact, the way you talk about living, Senator Sanders, why don't you give all of your earnings except $200,000? I mean, shouldn't $200,000 a year be enough for you to live on? Why not give everything else to charity and live on your $200,000 to show people, to be an example, to lead on this, Senator Sanders? I mean, after all, how much is enough, Bernie? How much money do you really need to make? When is enough enough? I mean, you made 1.1 million one year, 1.2 million another year, 500,000 last year. Why don't you just live on 200,000 and give the rest to charity, or at least to the United States of America Treasury? I mean, the hypocrisy is unbelievable. But do you think his fans will care about that? No, they don't care. No, that's fine. No worries. And then Martha McCollum follows up about the wealth tax. Now, she got a little bit wrong. She said that he wanted a 70% wealth tax. That's what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wants. He wants around 52% is what he said before. But she sets it up. And again, he won't really answer the question. Cut 8, please.
I think that in order to make sure that elderly people do not continue to live in poverty, and you got 20% of elderly people trying to get by at $13,000 or $14,000 a year, I think we should raise that cap for people making $250,000 or more, so we can make sure that our parents can live out their lives in dignity. I'll tell you.
Okay, now she asked what's the number, and you notice he didn't give a number. He eventually gets to 52% is his number for people making over $200,000. Remember now, he's made over $1 million in the last 2 years, and the very last year he's made $500,000. He should be paying 52%. His effective tax rate was 26% last year. So he should give double what he gave. Why didn't he? All right, so he still hasn't given a number, and so now he's going to go ahead and attack Wall Street, cut 9.
I think at a time when Wall Street is doing phenomenally well, and we have millions of young people who are deeply in debt for the crime of having gone to college, I believe we should pass a speculation tax on
that's
Wall
fine,
Street.
but I'm asking.
Okay, first of all, if Wall Street's doing really well right now, does Trump get any credit? No. Secondly, if Wall Street's doing well, everybody who owns stocks is doing well. So that's good for a huge number of Americans because almost everyone who has a salary job now has a 401k. Finally, these students had to go into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for the crime of going to college. Government is why the tuition has skyrocketed. Every time government gives more grants and more loans, the cost of college tuition increases to match the free money. There have been all kinds of studies on this, that the number one driver on the increase in tuition is that. By the way, you can go to college without taking out loans, even if you don't have parents who will pay for it. I know, because I know kids who are doing this. First thing you do, the smart thing to do, stay living with your parents and go to community college for the first 2 years. You save a ton of money. And you can work part-time and go to school part-time. Then you do the same thing when you go to the four-year university for the last 2 years. You go to a state university. If you can go to one close to home, that's awesome. If not, you get the cheapest apartment you can with roommates, and you work part-time and go to school part-time. You can do it. Is it the easy way? No, but you can do it. But again, he still hasn't answered the question. So he's trying to get to what is your number. He finally says 52%, but then he won't say that he would pay it now. Cut 10.
But I'm asking you about the wealthy and how much higher you would make it. You said you don't agree with 70%. What would your number be?
In the campaign in 2016, we talked about 52%.
All right, so 52%. So would you be willing to pay 52% on the money that you made?
Awesome.
You can volunteer. You can send a check.
Oh, you can volunteer, too. We have a...
But you suggested that that's what everybody in your bracket should do.
And Martha, why don't you give? You make more money than I do.
Well,
why don't you
I
give?
didn't suggest a wealth tax.
And she's not running for president.
All right, but we're going to fight.
Yes. I mean, again, he's in a room with people who support him, so they think he just scored a winning shot there. Well, why don't you volunteer, Martha? Again, it's Trump. Now it's Martha. He won't answer the question. Instead, he's attacking. He's learning a lot from Trump. You don't always answer the question. You attack the other people and attack the messenger. But wait a second. Martha McCollum's not running for president, and she's not calling for a wealth tax. Bernie Sanders is running for president, and he is calling for a wealth tax, and he's now in that wealthy bracket. And all she's asking is, why don't you voluntarily give it now? And he doesn't have a good answer for it. So instead, he attacks her. I said, I know that his supporters think that he just scored a big one there, but I think the average person watching that is going to say, yeah, why aren't you? What about you? Do you think that Bernie Sanders should be voluntarily paying more taxes right now up to the level that he wants to charge everyone else? 844-DIG-CHAD. 844-DIG-CHAD gets you in on that. By the way, I looked it up because, Bernie's always talking about people paying their fair share. Here's the latest numbers we have from the nonpartisan research group, the Tax Policy Center. What they do is they look at all the tax returns and they look at breaking people down into the top 0.1%, the top 1%, top 10%, et cetera, et cetera. Guess what they found out for 2018? The top 0.1%. Now, these are people who make $3.2 million a year or more. These are the very top of the top 0.1% of income earners in America. They're earning at least $3.2 million a year, okay? You look at this entire group, and the entire group of the top 0.1% is earning 7.6% of all the income in America. How dare they? No, they're earning income. They're not taking it from you. Yes, they are. If they made it, I can't make it. No, that's not how it works. Remember the old Doritos commercial? Eat all you want, we'll make more. That's what the economy is. The way these people are earning money is they're providing services and products that people want to buy. And you can do the same thing. There's nothing that stops. There's not a certain amount of income that's made during the year, and all of a sudden, no more. You didn't make it now. You don't get any. That's not how it works. There is no pie. I say, you got to get your piece of the pie. Remember the Jeffersons? We finally got a piece of the pie. Remember that? There is no pie. And yet, that's how people like Bernie Sanders sell it to you. That if one person makes a certain amount of money, you have to make less. In fact, it's the exact opposite in America. The more people make, the more everybody makes. So the top 0.1%. Stay with me here. I know numbers are hard on radio, but just stay with me. This is pretty easy. The top 0.1%, earning 7.6% of all the income. Now, what do you think their fair share of the income taxes would be? To me, if you're earning 7.6% of all the income, then you might say, well, I guess it would be fair if they paid 7.6% of all the income taxes, right? I mean, does that sound kind of fair? Earn 7.6% of the income, pay 7.6% of the income taxes. But no, they don't. See, I told you, they're not paying their fair share. They're paying 22% 22% of all the income taxes. What? Earning 7.6% of the income, paying 22% of all the income taxes. Almost 3 times their fair share. That's the top 0.1%. All right, well, what about the top 1%? I'll tell you about that in just a second. So do you think that's a fair share for the top 0.1%? Or do you still think they're not paying enough? 844-DIG-CHAD, 844-DIG-CHAD. I'll tell you what the top 1% is paying. And then I got to get you this story about a Easter yard display that got one grandma to take out her gardening shears. It's coming up. My name is Greg Knapp, in for Chad Benson on The Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
And my name is Greg Knapp, in for Chad on The Chad Benson Show, 844-DIG-CHAD. And here's a question of right and wrong. Is it right or wrong for Bernie Sanders to say he wants a 52% wealth tax on people who make over $200,000 a year? He's made over $200,000 the last 3 years. And his last year, he paid a 26% marginal tax rate. Is it right or wrong that he won't pay the difference right now? That he's calling everybody else to pay who makes that kind of money? He doesn't want to. And he just tries to laugh it off. But it's a legit question, isn't it? And by the way, the top 0.1% income earners in America, they're earning 7.6% of all the income, but paying 22% of all the income taxes. Is that their fair share? Or is that still not enough? Well, what about the top 1%? Those are the guys. Okay, maybe the 0.1%. What about the top 1%? All right, how about this? If you earn over $730,000 a year or more, you're in the top 1%. According to the Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center Research Group, in 2018, the top 1%ers earned 15.9% of all the income. So we'll say 16%, okay? So they earned 16% of all the income. They paid 43.3% of all the income tax. More than double their fair share, if you ask me. So do you think that's their fair share, or should they still be paying more? Now, I'm sure there are some billionaires who are able to find ways around the tax code to pay less, but this is the entire group. So those guys are included in this group. They're paying more than twice their fair share. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? The lowest 60% of households, income up to $86,000 a year, depending on how many children they have as well, they earn or receive about 27% of the income. And I said or receive because the people at the very bottom aren't paying any income tax at all. They're getting earned income tax credits. As a group, the lowest 60% of households in America have no net federal income tax for 2018. So who's not paying their fair share? By the way, I'm not in the top 1%. I'm just saying that they're paying their fair share. 844-DIG-CHAD, get you on board the program. 844-DIG-CHAD, love your opinion on that. Now, how about this? You live in an area that also has some commercial in it. There's a business right across the street from you. It's a dentist office. And for some reason, this dentist decides to decorate his yard for Easter, and he's got the normal stuff. He's got Easter eggs hanging from trees. He's got big Easter eggs on the lawn. But then he's also got 4 female mannequins dressed in lingerie with bunny ears on them. They're supposed to be Playboy bunnies. And the way I know that is the guy says that his decoration isn't really for Easter. It's to celebrate Hugh Hefner's birthday, which was April the 9th. All right, so there's a woman across the street, and she's not happy. She's 37 years old. She's got a 16-year-old son, and she said she doesn't want her 16-year-old son to be forced to look at the disgusting display. So she went over, allegedly, and took her gardening shears and chopped down the mannequins. Whoa, that's a little overreaction, isn't it, Mom? Here's the real stupid thing she did. She did it while there was a TV crew there filming the attention-grabbing display. So she has been charged with a crime now because the guy who owns it reported her to the police. She's now charged with criminal mischief. And the AP reports that the dentist has estimated the damage done was $500 to $1,000. He has a sign up now saying if somebody violates the space, they're getting arrested. And he's put the mannequins back up, new mannequins. And now he's added a couple guys, a couple male mannequins. I understand this woman's frustration. If you see the picture, it's kind of weird. I mean, there are these women mannequins with lingerie on with bunny ears standing in the yard right across from your house. Okay, I get that you don't like it. Here's the thing, though. Too bad. What do you mean too bad? I shouldn't have to look at that every day. Don't shit on yourself. Things get really bad when you start shitting on yourself. It gets all messy and smelly. You don't have the right to chop down this guy's mannequins. They're mannequins. There was no nudity here. There's no real people here. They had lingerie on, even if they were naked. This woman's got to calm down a little bit. This guy, as much as I think he probably shouldn't do this if he wants to be a good neighbor, has every right to do it. My name's Greg Knapp. I'm in for Chad Benson on The Chad Benson Show.
This is The Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's The Chad Benson Show.
And my name is Greg Knapp. I'm in for Chad Benson on The Chad Benson Show. Jump in at 844-DIG-CHAD and tell everybody what you think. 844-DIG-CHAD online. It's thechadshow.com. And you can go to Twitter, and the handle there is at Chad Benson Show. Lots of ways for you to be a part of it. I got to get you a little bit more about what went on with the Bernie Sanders town hall on Fox News Channel. He had a bunch of his fans with him. Everything he said got applauded. It got praised. There was even a bit there where we talked about Medicare for all, and people in there cheered. And I saw a headline that said, Fox News audience cheered Medicare for all. I'm like, well, it's not Fox News audience. It was a Bernie Sanders town hall where Fox News invited people in from all sides, and it was a heavily Democratic crowd because it was a Democrat, well, socialist who they were interviewing. It should show that they were, Fox News, not trying to pack the crowd with people who didn't like Bernie. In fact, the exact opposite is what they did. So anyway, let's get to some of the details on it, because you know how much Bernie's been ripping on millionaires and billionaires. So it was pointed out that he's a millionaire now. He made over $1 million in 2016, 2017. He made over $500,000 in 2018. So they're pointing out that he's a millionaire. And Bernie says, hey, so what? I earned it. Listen to cut 14.
I didn't know that it was a crime to write a good book, which turned out to be a bestseller.
How about that? I didn't know that it was a crime to write a good book, which turned out to be a bestseller. Bernie, it's not a crime. I'm happy for you for making money. The reason people are laughing at it and talking about what a hypocrite you are is that you have for years been vilifying millionaires and billionaires. Now he says, I don't vilify them. I just say they should pay their fair share. Listen to your rhetoric, Bernie. You are vilifying millionaires and billionaires. Day after day you do it. So now you're a millionaire, and so now all of a sudden it's, I didn't know it was a crime to write a good book, which turned out to be a bestseller. It's not. You know what else isn't a crime? Selling a bunch of iPhones to people who want them. You know what else isn't a crime? Being a lawyer who does a great job and provides a great service to his people. You know what else isn't a crime? Being a great doctor and providing that service to people that need that. You know who makes more than $200,000 a year? Brain surgeons. Are they horrible? Was it a crime for them to become a brain surgeon? With the amount of time and effort that they put in to become a brain surgeon? Shouldn't they be making more than $200,000 without you yelling at them for, quote, not paying their fair share? So, Bernie, welcome to the party. Now you know how it feels. Yes, people like you try to make people who earn a good income feel like they're committing a crime. Every successful person can say exactly what you said, Bernie. I didn't know it was a crime to provide this service to the people who wanted to pay me for it. I didn't know it was a crime to provide this product to people who chose to give me their money because they wanted it. I didn't know it was a crime. Every successful person agrees with you and uses the exact same reasoning that you just used. So quit vilifying them. Quit implying that they, and sometimes even saying that they got their income by cheating people, exploiting people, that they aren't paying their fair share, that they're cheating us out of our money, as if somehow all the money is the government's and the government just doles it out. No. People earn their income and then government takes it from them. By the way, Bernie, the reason your book became a bestseller is because you created a tribe of people who will buy anything you write. Your book did not become a bestseller because it was a fantastic book. And I'll say that about every politician who's running for president. The closer they get to the nomination, the more people buy their book because they become part of the tribe of that candidate. Obama's book sold like crazy, not because he was a great writer, but because he had a tribe who loved him. George W. Bush's book, when it sold like crazy, isn't because it was this awesome book. It's because he has a tribe, and so on and so on and so on. There are books that become bestsellers simply by word of mouth, and people say, man, you got to read this book. This book's awesome. Who's the author? I don't know. Never heard of him. But this is the book. You got to listen. You got to read it. Or she's an awesome writer. You got to read it. And then there are the books that become bestsellers from day one because people go, I love this author. She is awesome. I'll buy whatever book comes out. Or just, I love this person, and this person's buying the book. I'm going to buy it as soon as she writes it. That's what happened to you, Bernie. And there's nothing wrong with that. You worked hard to create your tribe. Good for you. But I didn't know it was a crime to write a good book. Turned out to be a bestseller. He wasn't done. He wanted to explain a little further. Cut 15.
And my view has always been that we need a progressive tax system which demands that the wealthiest people in this country finally start paying their fair share of taxes. If I make a lot of money, you make a lot of money, that is what I believe. So again, I don't apologize for writing a book that was number 3 on the New York Times bestseller, translated into 5 or 6 languages, and that's that.
So that's it. But you see what he said? He said, if I make a lot of money, if you make a lot of money, then I will pay more taxes. But he didn't. He had an opportunity to. His effective tax rate this year was 26%. He said he wants to charge everybody making over $200,000 a 52% effective tax rate. He could have done it this year. He chose not to. So he's just not telling you the truth. Is that fair? 844-DIG-CHAD. 844-DIG-CHAD. Is Bernie Sanders paying his fair share in taxes, especially when he's calling on people to pay more? So he dodged that question. We talked about it earlier. Now, how about this one? You know what's been going on with the whole abortion debate. And I'm not trying to get into the abortion debate today. I just wanted to get into whether Bernie Sanders is going to answer this question. New York passed a law that makes it legal to have an abortion right up until birth. Crazy. I mean, really. How can you think that that's not a life? There was one that was going on in Virginia. They were trying to pass a law, and they asked the woman, the Democrat sponsoring the bill, could you have an abortion right up at the moment of birth? She said yes. I mean, you've heard the audio. And then it was, these Republicans tricked her. The Republicans, the outrage machine is ramped up. And then the governor of Virginia, also a Democrat, Ralph Northam, tried to say, well, that's just rare. That has nothing to do. But, it really would be left up to the woman and the doctor after birth. Wait, what? After birth? So we're even going to have abortions after birth? And he tried to backpedal and try to talk. But this is how totally extreme it is. I mean, I can't imagine there's more than 1% of the population that really would be all in on abortion up to the moment of birth. To me, it's always been about, when do you believe life begins? Because at that point, if you really believe life begins, how can you say it's just a choice at that point? I mean, otherwise you must think life's not there, right? Because if there are 2 lives, then it can't just be one choice, right? So Martha McCullum brings this up and wants to know. She said that there's this third trimester abortion question out there. Do you support the idea of abortion right up until the moment of birth? Here's her exact words. With regard to abortion, do you believe that a woman should be able to terminate pregnancy up until the moment of birth? Here's Bernie's answer, cut 7.
With regard to abortion, do you believe that a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy up until the moment of birth?
Look, I think that happens very, very rarely, and I think this is being made into a political issue. Okay? So I think it's rare, it's being made into a political issue, but at the end of the day, I believe that the decision over abortion belongs to a woman and a physician, not the federal government, not the state government, and not the local government.
Now, the news coverage of that said that Bernie dodged the question. No, he didn't. He answered it. It's between the woman and the doctor. So he does support abortion up until the moment of birth. That's what he just said. And did you notice how the crowd tried to moan and groan through that question that Martha McCollum put as if it's some kind of crazy question? The Republicans didn't come up with this question. The Democrats passed a law in New York and then turned the Empire State Building pink to celebrate making it legal to have an abortion up until the moment of birth. So now when you're asked, do you support that? Somehow that's a gotcha question? It's your party. Listen to the beginning of this one more time through the groans.
With regard to abortion, do you believe that a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy up until the moment of birth?
Look, I think that happens very, very rarely, and I think this is being made into a political issue.
Could you hear that? All right, that's enough. You know, the reason they're getting upset because they know that's not a winning question for them. They know that the average person in America does not like the idea of an abortion at the moment of birth. Now, they may say it's rare. It should be 0. Why would you ever say that's okay? Well, for the health of the mother. At that point, the doctors will tell you don't have to kill the baby for the health of the mother. You know, you can do a cesarean. You're going to have to get the baby out one way or the other. That's just crazy. And I think they know it. The Democrats know it, which is why they're trying to avoid answering that question. Oh, one more that's going to sound pretty crazy. Bernie Sanders was asked about felons in prison, not felons that have served their time, come out. See, I'm all for felons, convicted felons who have served their time, get out of prison. I believe they should be allowed to vote again. They've served their time. They should be full American citizens again. But now the Democrats are talking about felons in prison while they're serving their time, being allowed to vote while they're in prison. So Martha McCollum asked him if he agreed that felons sitting in prison should be allowed to vote. Listen to cut 1.
Do you believe that murderers and rapists or thieves or child molesters should have the right to vote from prison?
Good question. All right, this is in my state. I recently researched this. It turns out that in our Constitution in the state of Vermont, for hundreds of years, everybody has the right to vote. Okay? So I think you make this division. If somebody does something terrible, they're a rapist, they're a murderer, we send them away. Sometimes we send them away from life. But I also think that integral to who we are as Americans, no matter what kind of terrible things you did, you're paying the price. Maybe you're in jail for the rest of your life, but you have the right to vote.
I mean, really think about that for a second. We said, well, you know, the Constitution, everybody has the right to vote. Okay, well, hold on a second. Everyone has the right to liberty as well. How do we take it away? Because they broke the law. So what Bernie Sanders is actually trying to say is, if you break the law bad enough so that we actually found you guilty, convicted you, and now even if we've said you're going to be in prison for life because you committed such a heinous crime, we're going to take your liberty away for the rest of your life. But, I mean, we can't take away your right to vote. I mean, that would be crazy. Which one do you value more? Your right to vote or your right to liberty? So, obviously, if we can take away someone's liberty because their crime was so heinous and so hurtful to our society, we should be able to take away the right for them to vote. Why in the world would we want people who have committed that type of crime, who are in the process of paying their due to society, to have the right to shape our society? No. I can't imagine anybody would go along with that. But there are many on the left. This is a big question now. This is part of the social justice movement. How dare you? Because, see, you got to follow this path. They believe that, well, our whole judicial system is racist. And since it's racist, we really can't punish them more than being in prison because these people shouldn't be in prison anyway. So we better let them vote. Plus, it'll help the Democrats get more votes. What? Of course it will. Of course it will. And that's what it's really about. 844-DIG-CHAD, get you on board the program. Got a couple more there from Bernie on this. And how about a girl in trouble for defending herself in school? Wait till you hear this story. My name's Greg Knapp, in for Chad Benson on The Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
My name's Greg Knapp. I'm in for Chad Benson on The Chad Benson Show. You can go to thechadshow.com. You can dial in at 844-DIG-CHAD. Do you agree with Bernie Sanders that felons sitting in prison should still be allowed to vote? She asked him, Martha McCollum, rapists, child molesters, murderers, should they be able to vote while they're sitting in prison? He said yes. Yeah. I mean, you're sure you did terrible things, but you're paying the price. Maybe you're in jail the rest of your life, but you have the right to vote. So you don't have the right to liberty anymore, but you have the right to vote. You should be able to shape our government while you're sitting in prison because of your heinous crime. So then he decides, again, let's get away from this because I know this is bad. So let me attack. So he goes after Republicans, supposedly for trying to suppress the vote. Cut 2, please.
And I'll tell you why. One of the things that upsets me very much is we have cowardly Republican governors who are working overtime to suppress the vote, to make it harder for people of color, for poor people, for young people to vote.
That's such a lie. That is such an outright lie, and I'm so tired of people like Bernie Sanders saying it. You need a photo ID to buy alcohol if you don't look 21 years old. Really, most bars will say if you don't look 35, we're carding you. You need a photo ID to rent a car. You need a photo ID to check into a hotel. You need a photo ID for all kinds of stuff. But you don't need one to vote? That makes no sense. Well, it's because it makes it harder for people of color and poor people. Well, but the ID's free if you don't have money. I mean, every state that's done this, they will give you a free photo ID to vote if you can't afford to get a normal photo ID driver's license. So if getting a photo ID is so racist, then isn't it racist to require people to have a photo ID to drive a car? Right? Then our government is racist? By the way, in every federal building that has any security, you have to show a photo ID to get in. Isn't that racist? Of course not. By the way, every state that is required photo ID, and that's what Bernie Sanders is talking about, every state that's required that has had an increase in voter participation, not a decrease. It's just a flat-out lie. The reason the Democrats don't like it is because they know that the more you do away with voter fraud, the more it hurts the Democratic Party. It's not racist or trying to stop someone from voting to say we need to know who you are when you vote. Because, by the way, fraud cancels out a legal vote. That should not be allowed. How about the girl in trouble for defending herself in the girls' bathroom? We'll get you that one in a second. Greg Knapp in for Chad Benson.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
And my name is Greg Knapp. Hey, how you doing? I'm in for Chad on the Chad Benson Show, 844-DIG-CHAD if you'd like to get in on the conversation. And you can also go to thechadshow.com. on Twitter. The handle is simply at Chad Benson Show. Lots of ways for you to be a part of the program. This one got me. It's near and dear to my heart because I can't believe what we're doing to children. The last couple of generations of children, we've been raising wimps. We've been raising people who don't know how to defend themselves and let bullies bully them, which is why we have a bullying problem, really. And I know a lot of people, oh, Greg, you just don't understand. The bullying has gotten so bad. As if there wasn't bullying when we were kids. But you know what used to happen when there was a bully? Somebody would stand up to the bully. And then the bully would stop. And now we don't even let our kids do that anymore. Because if you get in a fight with the bully, you're both in trouble. Even if the bully started it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Case in point. I take you to North Pole High School in North Pole, Alaska. It's a real place. A group of boys went to take a selfie in the girls' bathroom. Why? Well, because a transgender student went into the boys' bathroom and took a selfie. So, you know, this is what high schoolers do. Oh, yeah, I took one. Oh, I'm going to go take it over there. They do stupid stuff. All right, so it goes into a group of boys going into the girls' bathroom to take a selfie. Well, there was a girl in the girls' bathroom. She had no idea what was going on, but they blocked her path, and she was trying to get out, and all these boys are coming in. She doesn't know what's going on. So she put a knee into the crotch of the first boy who was coming at her. And, of course, he buckled down in pain. Now, when I was in school, that would have been the end of it, except all day long people would have been high-fiving the girl. Well, that's just wrong, Greg. How dare you say that? I mean, this boy might have been injured. I'm sure he was in pain. I'm sure he was in pain. I don't know a single man who hasn't had something hit him in that region at some point in his life. And he knows that it's a lot of pain. It's usually a baseball. Maybe it's a football. Maybe it's a basketball. Sometimes it's somebody's foot. Sometimes it's a wiffle ball bat. Sometimes, I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen that seem to hit that region. Sometimes that you slip off your bicycle and hit that bar in the middle. Every man has gone through at least one of these incidents where they have had some pain in that region. It doesn't kill you. And every dad has taught his daughter, if a guy's giving you any trouble, kick him in the crotch. Hard. That's what we teach. Why do we teach him that? Because it makes a man go down. I mean, it's truth. But not now. Oh, no. How dare she? I mean, the girl's been suspended. Now, one report said she was expelled. I can't believe she's been expelled. So I'm hoping it was suspended. She didn't get to go to prom. Now, all the boys that rushed into the bathroom, they got to go to prom. By the way, they said the actual kneeing in the crotch thing had nothing to do with the whole transgender taking a selfie in the boys' room. So that's totally off the table. But the boys got to go to prom. They rushed into the girls' bathroom. She didn't get to go to prom because she defended herself with a knee to the first guy's crotch. She didn't know what was going on. All these guys are coming at her in the bathroom. She's trying to get out. She puts a knee in his crotch. I say more power to her. If that was my daughter, I'd say, way to go. Good job. Am I wrong? 844-DIG-CHAD. 844-DIG-CHAD. What would you tell your daughter about that? Do you think the school had the right to suspend her? See, because nowadays, it doesn't matter who started it. No one's allowed to do any violence. And whoever participated in violence, well, they're all going to be suspended because violence never solved anything. Really, violence never solved anything. How did we become a country? Well, that's different. I mean, violence never solved anything. How about when somebody is hitting you and you fight back and then they stop hitting you? That didn't solve it? If you came around a corner and saw a guy hitting your wife, violence wouldn't be the answer then? I mean, it's just nonsense. What are we teaching these kids? Sometimes violence is the answer. Now, I agree. Most of the time, we don't want violence to be the answer. We'd like to start with words. We'd like to work it out. We'd all like to live in a society where we can sing kumbaya around the campfire. But sometimes violence is the answer. Let me just ask you this. Let's imagine that you're having a debate with somebody about violence being the answer. And they say, you know, violence is never the answer. You just punch them in the face and they drop. Oh, man, they're mad. They jump up. They're about to hit you back. And you go, wait a second. I thought you said violence is never the answer. Oh, yeah, you're right. Violence is never the answer. All right, you're right. We just got to calm down. Bam! You punch them in the face again. A guy gets up. He's really ready to attack you now. I go, whoa, whoa, whoa. I thought you said violence was never the answer. You're right. Violence is never. Bam! You punch him in the face. How many punches in the face before that guy starts to think that violence is the answer? Sometimes it is. So she knees him in the crotch, and she gets suspended or expelled, depending on which story you believe. Her sister tweeted this out a few days later in support of her. I don't care what you're protesting. Stay out of the women's bathroom. Yep. And the Alaska Republican state representative for the district, Tammy Wilson, said at a news conference that she would teach her daughter to respond the same way. Quote, good for her, end quote. Oh, I like her. Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's going to discuss the incident with the Board of Education. She said, quote, was she supposed to not protect herself? She was where she belonged. They were not. So Representative Wilson, she wants the girls to know if they feel the need to use violence in a threatening situation, she'll back them up. Quote, if you ever feel threatened for your safety, whatever force you think you have to give, I will stand behind you. End quote. That's Alaska, baby. That's tough stuff. I like it. I mean, you live in a place where there's bears and stuff. You have to be able to take control of the situation. So do you agree or disagree? Was the school right, or is this representative right? Would you have told your daughter, good job, or would you have said, honey, you can't do that? Listen to what the school district says. Students are expected to behave in a manner that will not disrupt the learning or school environment. If a student or staff member feels unsafe in any school facility, they should alert the building administrator. She couldn't get out of the bathroom. Safety assistants or other staff for assistance. The district encourages all students and staff to call 911 in an emergency. You're not going to call 911 because boys are coming in the bathroom. You're trying to get out. They're in your way. You knee them in the crotch. Problem solved. See, like I said, we're raising generations of wimps. Now, I'm not proud of this. I'm actually a little bit embarrassed by this. But in 7th grade, I was in 13 fights. I didn't start a single one of the fights. All I did was try to defend myself so I didn't get beaten up worse. I was short. I was skinny. I had acne. I had braces. I had glasses. And I was wearing my brother's hand-me-downs that were 2 sizes too big for me. I mean, I was looking sharp. I can't imagine why anybody would want to pick on me. So I got teased a lot. I got picked on a lot. But my dad always told me to stand up for myself. So if somebody hit me, I hit him back. And I just hit back as hard as I could. I lost every one of those 13 fights, but it was never the same person twice. Because at least I fought back and showed them I wasn't going to be a pushover, that I was going to get some licks in if you were going to hit me. And so they stopped bullying me. Sometimes you have to fight back, especially when you're growing up in school. Now, I'm not saying it's okay for people to bully people. And I do want the school administration to do a better job of stopping the bullying. Absolutely. But guess what? They can't be everywhere all the time. It's the same thing. It's the microcosm of the real world when you need a police officer. Police officers cannot be everywhere all the time. You know the expression. When seconds count, the police are minutes away. They can't be everywhere. And you better be ready, willing, and able to defend yourself, or the police might get there too late. The police might get there after you've been shot, after you've been stabbed, after you've been beaten up, because they can't be everywhere. And you can't always dial 911 when someone's attacking you. And yet we're raising these kids. Oh, violence is never the answer. Oh, no. No, we want to make sure people know violence is never the answer. Well, I wish somebody would tell the criminals. I think our victims are told violence is never the answer, and they're living by it because they're trying to live by the rules. But somebody needs to tell the criminals that violence isn't the answer because they seem to think it is. And it seems to be working out for some of them. 844-DIG-CHAD gets you on board the program. 844-DIG-CHAD. Love your thoughts on that. Who's right, who's wrong on that one. And I can't believe this girl's been suspended and didn't get to go to prom. And I'm sure this is going down on her permanent record when I don't think she did anything wrong at all. Meanwhile, have you seen what's going on in the sports world? I'm not talking about the Tiger thing. That's old news now. I'm talking about what happened for the Seattle Seahawks and their quarterback, Russell Wilson. Dude has become highest paid football player of all time. Russell Wilson's good. Is he the best? Should he be making the most money? Oh, that debate will rage. And people say, oh, these guys are making way too much money. But here's the thing. It's supply and demand. And how much money is he bringing the team? How much money is he generating for the team? How much money does he help generate for the city? Seattle Seahawks and Russell Wilson, the agreement, are you ready? $140 million over 4 years. So an average of about $35 million. That's not bad. But here's the better part of it if you're Russell Wilson. See, in the NFL, your contract's not guaranteed. In the NBA, it is. So even if you get injured or you start to not play very well, you still get paid. NFL, no, they'll cut you. However, there is one thing that is guaranteed. Your signing bonus. So his signing bonus, guaranteed money, $65 million. Oh, man, that is nice. That is really nice. So $65 million signing bonus and a 4-year, $140 million contract extension, and he'll be their quarterback till 2023. So he is now the highest paid. Now, this guy is a 5-time Pro Bowler. He was the quarterback so far for the only Seattle Seahawks team to ever win the Super Bowl. They should have won another one. One bad play is how you could say that one went down. And this keeps him under contract with Seattle until he's 35 years old. What do you think? Good deal, bad deal? Does he deserve the money? See, this is what always drives me crazy on that. Does he deserve the money? If the Seattle Seahawks are willing to pay him the money, he deserves the money. Just like when you sell your house. If somebody's willing to pay you $300,000 for your house and you're willing to take it, that's what your house is worth. If they're willing to pay you $400,000, that's what it's worth. If somebody's willing to only pay you $250 and that's the only bid you can get and you're ready to sell it, that's what it's worth. And it's the same thing for what you do as a job. Now, I know the people say, oh, it's not fair. Teachers work so hard. My wife's a teacher. You're right. She works her butt off. Why doesn't she get paid more? Well, because fortunately or unfortunately, we have lots of people who are willing to do that job, who are qualified to do that job, and who will do that job for that amount of money. There are only about 5 or 6 people as good, arguably, as quarterback as Russell Wilson is. The top 5 or 6 guys, you could argue one way or the other on who's the best. And he's one of them. So he makes the money. Because it's a sport that tens of millions of people in America watch, that creates billions of dollars of wealth every year. Advertising and ticket prices and concessions and people coming in for hotel room stays and jerseys and other paraphernalia and everything else that goes along with it and gambling and on and on and on we go. That's why he makes the money. I'm sorry you don't like it, but, you could decide to become a pro football player and work hard enough and become the pro football player that he is. Or maybe you can't, and that's why you're not making the money. Hey, I can't. But you can find something else to do, right? So is he worth it or not? You tell me. 844-DIG-CHAD. 844-DIG-CHAD gets you in. Nancy Pelosi throwing more shade at AOC. Wait till you hear the audio coming up. My name's Greg Knapp, in for Chad Benson on The Chad Benson Show.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
And my name is Greg Knapp, in for Chad. 844-DIG-CHAD. Nancy Pelosi was on with Leslie Stahl 60 Minutes, and Leslie Stahl was saying to her, some of your people are getting a little bit, they're self-described socialists. And I was just wondering, where do you think the party's going? Is the Democratic Party becoming the Socialist Party? Here's Nancy Pelosi, cut 13.
By and large, whatever orientation they came to Congress with, they know that we have to hold the center, that we have to go down the mainstream.
Wait, really? Does it seem like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is going down the mainstream? Does it sound like Ilhan Omar is going down the mainstream? Does it sound like Elizabeth Warren is going down the mainstream? Does it sound like Bernie Sanders is going down the mainstream? It doesn't sound too mainstream when you say we want the new Green Deal and we want to get rid of all fossil fuels and we want to try to get rid of all plane travel and cow toots. I mean, sounds like it's going right down the middle. She went on to say, I do reject socialism as an economic system. If people have that view, that's their view. That is not the view of the Democratic Party. Well, sounds like it. And she said, well, you know, there's AOC and others. She goes, oh, that's about 5 people. Oh, dismissing AOC. She went even further. She was overseas and she was asked about, you know, Democrats, Republicans. And she said it was great that some Democrats flipped Republican seats in the midterm elections. But then she downplayed what Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did in her district in New York. She said this: when we won this election, it wasn't in districts like mine or Alexandria's. She's a wonderful member of Congress, as I think all of our colleagues will attest, but those are districts that are solidly Democratic. This glass of water, and she held up a glass of water, this glass of water would win with a D next to its name in those districts. Oh, I think Alexandria and her peeps are taking this. Oh, man. That's not good. That is, I think it's more than 5 people. I think it's more than 5 people. And meanwhile, Buttigieg, South Bend Mayor Pete was on with Rachel Maddow show and is saying that, you know, the Democrats need to push the Republicans because the Republicans, well, they're using the Electoral College as one of the manipulations of political structure to win elections. Huh? Well, he starts out by saying, you know, most Americans don't believe in any conservatism. Cut 5.
Most Americans don't want the conservative agenda that we're now seeing, the extreme agenda that we're seeing in Washington. In fact, it is precisely for that reason that they have to interfere with democracy with things like voter suppression or clinging on an electoral college that overrules the will of the American people.
Wow. Okay, first of all, there's no voter suppression. We went over that. Voter ID has increased voter participation, not decreased it. It's stopping voter fraud. Secondly, the Electoral College did not overthrow the will of the people. The Electoral College is part of the will of the people so that smaller states can be counted. That's the whole reason the founders put it in. Does he not want his smaller state of Indiana to count? The reason it's there is so that just a few huge populated states can't decide the election for the entire nation. These people are nuts. And it's just getting started. 844-DIG-CHAD, get you on board. 844-DIG-CHAD. My name is Greg Knapp. I'm in for Chad Benson on The Chad Benson Show.
This is The Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's The Chad Benson Show.
And my name's Greg Knapp. I'm in for Chad on The Chad Benson Show. Hey, how you doing? You can join in, thechadshow.com, 844-DIG-CHAD, 844-DIG-CHAD, and you can also go to Twitter, @Chad Benson Show. Lots of ways for you to get involved. Before I get into this whole Bernie Sanders thing with the big town hall meeting and what he's saying about taxes and his tax returns are out, and there's a ton of stuff we've got there, and we've got some great audio for you. I saw this story about the congestion tax, and I want you to think about this one. The congestion tax now is big. New York has approved it. Now, what this plan is that you get charged more to come into the city during rush hour. So think about this, though. You can't even live in the big city because it's too expensive. You had to move out of the big city in order to live. But you still work in the big city. So you got to commute in every day and commute out every day. Bad enough that there are all kinds of traffic jams. Bad enough that you're already paying tolls to get in and out. But now, because you have the audacity to want to come into town to work during rush hour, you're going to have to pay even more money. A congestion surcharge for all Manhattan points of entry below 60th Street in New York. They've been working on this for a decade. Now you got people looking at it in L.A., San Francisco, Philadelphia, Boston, Seattle, Portland. Could have come to your town soon. If you're in the top 50 biggest cities in America, how soon before your city starts to go, oh, ho, back for more cash? Look, this is the problem. We've got too many people in government who actually think that it's their money, and they'll let you keep some of it. But hey, after all, I mean, we're doing what's best for everybody, so we need the money. So yeah, if we've got to increase the tax on congestion, we will, because after all, it's not a right for you to drive into our city. And you're driving on our roads. So yeah, but I already pay taxes for working in your city, or I already pay sales taxes every day working in that city, or the place where I work, they pay property taxes for their big building in your city. While I'm there, I buy stuff in your city. What are you talking about? I'm not paying anything. I'm paying out the wazoo as it is. Well, it's not enough. I mean, you complain about the holes in the road. If we're going to fix them, we need some money. So how soon before it comes to your city, and are you ready for that? Does that seem right? By the way, what's the alternative if you work in the city and you can't afford to live there? Isn't this going to disproportionately hurt the poorest workers in these cities? If you make a lot of money, you might live in the city in a really nice condo or a really nice apartment. But if you're barely making enough to make ends meet and you're working in these places, you really don't have an option. You got to get into work. And these cities don't all have, train systems, bus systems, whatever, to get you where you need to go, especially not on time, and especially if you're going to come in early or leave late or whatever. But no. Congestion is already a punishment, and now you're going to get charged more? What do you think? Are you up for it? Boston Herald says state lawmakers have introduced a new bill. They're aimed at imposing the congestion tax in East Boston. Now, the governor vetoed a similar bill last year. And even though the Democratic mayor wants it, their commuters gave him some serious backlash. Now, Fox News reporting the analytics company INRIX used over 350 million traffic data points and rates Boston as the most congested city in the country. New York, L.A., Seattle, San Fran, Philly, Portland are all in the top 10. So they're looking at changing it. Here's Democratic Councilman Mike O'Brien, and he says, as congestion and pollution increase in our growing city, we need tools such as congestion pricing to ensure our city continues to function well. He's from Seattle. He says Seattle is assessing the possible impact on low-income households who he said should not disproportionately bear the impacts of congestion pricing. So now we're going to have to prove how much we make when we drive into town. We're going to have a special pass. We're going to make people who make over $50,000 pay more, $70,000, $80,000. Where's the cutoff? This is just getting nuts. AAA says, their spokesperson said, as far as we're concerned, this is all about the money, and it is terribly unfair. And to me, it's just another money grab. It's just another money grab. They're not even, if they would do what they're supposed to do with the money they're currently collecting in taxes, we wouldn't have this problem. You realize every year we hit a new record in terms of income taxes in the United States of America, and I would bet you these cities are the same. With what they're taking in now, through all their income taxes, their fees, their sales taxes, their property taxes, their tolls. Most of these big cities are making more money than they did last year. And I say making money. They don't make any money. Taking more money than they took last year. What are they spending it on? Are they spending it wisely? Because I'll tell you, just about every city, when you look at it, there's an awful lot of waste. But no. Now we're going to charge you even more to drive into our city when you have to in order to work and get home. Isn't that nice? The price hasn't even been set yet for New York. But Governor Cuomo's office did put forward a report. Here's where their recommendations are. You come in during rush hour. $11.52. If you drive a truck, $25.34, and that's on top of any bridge tolls. Come on in, New York. I love you. Why do you think people are moving out of these towns? That's outrageous. So is it going to come to your town? Would you fight it? Or do you think, hey, Greg, I mean, we need more tax revenue if we're going to make these streets look good, if we're going to hire more police officers, if we're going to take care of the potholes, we need more. All right. 844-DIG-CHAD, get you on board for that. 844-DIG-CHAD. And yes, Bernie Sanders had his big town hall, and it was Fox News Channel, and they had Bret Baier and Martha McCallum doing the hosting. Bernie ripped on Fox News to the point that finally Bret Baier had to say, hey, man, we invited you here. Let's move along from trying to bash Fox News Channel. All right. Why is it that the left can bash Fox News Channel like crazy and nobody says anything? President Trump calls CNN fake news and all of a sudden he's trying to destroy the First Amendment. Yeah, just another double standard. But Fox News Channel has been shown time and time again in survey after survey or study after study that they're actually the most down the middle of any network news or cable news when it comes to actual news coverage. Not their opinion shows with people like Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson, but their news shows. And Bret Baier does a news show. For the first 40 minutes of his hour, the last 20, he brings on a panel of opinion people. So they brought in a mix of a crowd for Senator Sanders. But I'll tell you, it sure sounded like he had a lot of Democrats and socialists in there because just about everything he said, they cheered wildly. But his taxes had just come out. And it found out some very interesting things in these tax returns. In 2016, he made over $1 million. In 2017, he made over $1 million. 2018, he made over $500,000. The dude's a millionaire. Uh-oh. Have you noticed he hasn't been saying as much that the millionaires need to pay their fair share? Now it's turned into the billionaires. A little switch in the messaging, right? He only gave 3.4% to charity. Last year, his effective tax rate was only 26%. Huh. In 2017, when he made over $1 million, his effective tax rate was only 30%. Now, he has said he wants a wealth tax on people who make over $200,000 a year to pay 52% in income tax. Well, he made over $200,000 last year, and he paid 26%. Why didn't he pay more? Well, he didn't have to. It's not about have to. You said you should. Why don't you do it? You can do it. You can voluntarily do it. You can just put a little fill in the box at the bottom of your IRS form. It says, do you want to donate extra to the Treasury? You could do it right there. He didn't do it. Why? Why? Why didn't he? Why didn't he take the lead? Why didn't he show America what you should do? Live up to what he says we all should do. And why only 3.4% to charity? Well, Bret Baier wanted to ask him some of those things, and he did. He started out explaining where he is now and asking what he's willing to pay. Cut 16, please.
Your taxes do show that you're a millionaire. You did make $1 million in 2016, 2017. You're right, the 561 in 2018. But your marginal tax rate was 26% because of President Trump's tax cuts. So why not say, I'm leading this revolution. I'm not going to take those.
That's a great question, isn't it? Well, the crowd didn't think so. The crowd gets behind Bernie Sanders here and tries to make it seem like that was just an outrageous question to ask. What do you mean pay more taxes? Well, because you're telling everybody they should. Here's the answer. Short one.
Come on. We're doing. I paid the taxes.
Yeah. So he tries to blow it off with a, come on. Are you kidding? And the crowd starts laughing. They're not laughing at him. They're trying to laugh off the question. So is Bernie a hypocrite? Well, I'll get you his full answer in just a second on why he's not paying more in taxes since he's telling everybody else they should. And I also want to get into whether the top 1% is really paying their fair share. 844-DIG-CHAD, get you on board. 844-DIG-CHAD. My name is Greg Knapp. I'm in for Chad on the Chad Benson Show.
take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Rent free.
My name's Greg Knapp in for Chad Benson. This is the Chad Benson Show. Glad you're along for the program. You can jump online, really, at thechadshow.com and on Twitter at Chad Benson Show, 844-DIG-CHAD. We were talking about Bernie Sanders. He made over $1 million in 2016, over $1 million in 2017, over $500,000 in 2018, and yet in 2018, 26% effective tax rate. He says people who make over $200,000, and he did, should pay a 52% tax at least. He didn't do it. So Bret Baier flat out asked him why not. Let's hear that question one more time. Cut 16.
Your taxes do show that you're a millionaire. You did make $1 million in 2016, 2017. You're right, the 561 in 2018. But your marginal tax rate was 26% because of President Trump's tax cuts. So why not say, I'm leading this revolution. I'm not going to take those.
It's a great question. And he tries to laugh it off. I'll give you the long answer now. And he tries to laugh it off and then goes into attacking Trump. So he never answers the question. He never answers the question, why didn't you pay more? Here you go.
Come on, we're doing. I paid the taxes that I owe. And by the way, once you got Donald Trump up here and ask him how much he pays in taxes.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Donald Trump isn't trying to increase my taxes. He decreased my taxes. Now, the left and the Democrats and the media, but I repeat myself, have tried for the last year to convince you that he didn't cut his taxes. But even the New York Times had to admit, yep, your taxes were cut. New York Times fact check. Actually, the overwhelming majority of Americans got a tax cut, despite the Democrats' false propaganda. Guy Benson had a great post on it. You look at the left-leaning Tax Policy Center, and they said, if you look at the income tax changes in the law, almost exactly 2/3 of Americans received a tax cut averaging near $2,200, including 82% of middle-income earners. They averaged a tax cut of over $1,000. 80.4% of earners received a tax cut, including 91.3% of the middle class. Only 4.8% of the population saw their taxes go up. And those were disproportionately high-income earners who itemize deductions and live in high-tax states. So 80.4% of earners received a tax cut, and yet the left wants you to believe that you didn't. So then Bret Baier follows up, and he's like, by the way, you only gave 3.4% to charity. Why not give more? Here he is.
Last question on this. A lot of millionaires and billionaires give a ton to charity. You gave 3.4%.
Yep. My wife and I do give money to charity. All right? And we're proud to do what we did. There are others. You're quite right. There are people. Gates Foundation do a phenomenal job. We do what we do.
3.4%. You know you're running for president, and you give 3.4%? You complain that millionaires and billionaires don't do their fair share, and you give 3.4%? And you try to defend that by saying, well, I'm not Bill Gates. Lots of people who make very little money give 10% or more to charity. And you give 3.4%? Okay. All right. Yeah. You didn't really answer it. You didn't really answer it. Just like he really won't answer the question that Martha McCallum asks of why he doesn't give more. He said he wants a 52% tax rate. So we'll just skip to the end here where Martha McCallum just asked him, why aren't you paying 52% then? Cut 10.
But I'm asking you about the wealthy and how much higher you would make it. You said you don't agree with 70%. What would your number be?
In the campaign in 2016, we talked about 52%.
All right, so 52%. So would you be willing to pay 52% on the money that you made?
Also,
you can volunteer. You can send a check.
Oh, you can volunteer, too. We have a...
But you suggested that that's what everybody in your bracket should do.
And Martha, why don't you give? You make more money than I do.
Well, I didn't suggest a wealth tax.
And she's not running for president.
All right, but we're going to fight.
Right. And now, again, he had the crowd behind him, and they thought he just scored this winning shot. No, you're running for president. You're calling for a wealth tax, and you're not willing to pay what you're asking everybody else to pay. I don't care what Martha McCullum thinks about it. She's not running for president. So she's asking, why aren't you doing that? And he wouldn't answer the question. By the way, if you're talking about who's paying their fair share, this came out from the Tax Policy Center, nonpartisan research group. And in 2018, they're saying the top 0.1% is earning 7.6% of the income. That's a lot, right? But they're paying 22% of all the income taxes. I would say that's more than 3 times their fair share. Well, how about the top 1%? If you earn more than $730,000 a year, you're in the top 1%. They're earning 15.9% of all the income. That's a lot. So they're probably paying 15.9% of all the taxes, right? That would be a fair share. No. Earning 15.9% of all the income, paying 43% of all the income tax. More than twice their fair share. So why isn't Bernie Sanders paying his fair share? Speaking of Cher is up in arms over this whole illegal immigration thing, but maybe not in the way you think. I'll get you that story in just a second. 844-DIG-CHAD. My name's Greg Knapp, in for Chad on The Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's The Chad Benson Show.
My name's Greg Knapp. I'm in for Chad on The Chad Benson Show. You can jump in at 844-DIG-CHAD or thechadshow.com. Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Cher back in the news. Cher loves to tweet at Trump and loves to get involved with politics. So good for her. I mean, she's trying to stay active. She tweeted this out about the problem with illegal immigrants, sanctuary cities, etc. She says, I understand helping struggling immigrants, but my city, in caps, Los Angeles, this is all in caps, but my city isn't taking care of its own. What about the 50,000 plus U.S. citizens who live on the streets? People who live below the poverty line and hungry? Question mark. That was all in caps. If my state can't take care of its own, many are vets, how can it take care of more? Is this the day that Cher became a Republican? I mean, is this the day that Cher became a conservative? Is this the day that Cher became an American firster? I mean, listen to what she's saying. She's saying that American citizens should get priority from American government handouts and benefits and help than people who are coming into our country illegally. How dare you, Cher? How dare you try to act like there should be any kind of a difference? We're all human, Cher. Don't you know that? And once somebody's in the United States of America, they should have all the rights that everybody else has in the United States of America. I don't care how they got here, Cher. Well, Cher's actually saying exactly what you and I have been saying for forever. I don't want anyone to live a life of poverty. I don't want anyone to live in a dangerous area. I don't want anyone to live in a country where it's very difficult to live and provide for you and your family. But we can't take everybody. I mean, it's as clear. It's real. This is the most logical I've heard Cher in probably forever. I understand helping struggling immigrants. So do I. Even though what she's doing is conflating legal immigrants with illegal immigrants. I understand helping struggling illegal aliens. But my city isn't taking care of its own. What about the 50,000 plus U.S. citizens who live on the streets? People who live below the poverty line and hungry. Okay, Cher, what are you doing about that? I don't know. Are you doing? I really don't know. I'd love to know. Is Cher doing something? Does she donate to homeless shelters? Does she try to help people get off the street? I don't know. I'm not saying that to be mean. I really don't know what she does. 50,000 plus U.S. citizens who live on the streets, people who live below the poverty line and hungry. If my state can't take care of its own, many are vets, how can it take care of more? It's a very logical question. It's not hateful. It doesn't mean Cher hates brown people. It doesn't mean she hates people who come south of the border. Yet that's what the left says to anybody like you or me who would have the audacity to say the emperor has no clothes. we can't even take care of our own people. How can we continue to bring in more people who are poverty-stricken, who are uneducated, and somehow we're supposed to take care of them too? She went on, share. Those who can must take a dreamer into their home and protect them. I'm ready to do this, and others in my business will do the same. Well, good for you, Cher. I think that's awesome. How many other celebrities are going to do that, and have you done that? Because I think that's awesome. That's really nice of you. I don't think a whole lot of your fellow celebrities are going to. And you can't count your maid or your gardener who only comes for a little. What? How dare you say that? Well, it's the truth. Again, it's the truth. For many celebrities, the only contact they have with the problem of illegal immigration is somebody who works on their compound. That's it. So they don't their children don't go to the crowded schools. They don't have to go to the crowded emergency room. They don't have to live in the neighborhood that is having problem with gangs. They don't have to live with all those problems. Oh, are you saying every legal alien is a member of a gang? No, I'm not. However, I am saying some of them are. Case in point, Maryland. A neighborhood in Maryland, a suburb of D.C., had a tragedy. 16-year-old boy attacked by violent members of MS-13 from El Salvador. The boy's from El Salvador. He fled El Salvador to get away from it. He was murdered. He was stabbed over 100 times. Think about that for a second. I have a 16-year-old daughter. This 16-year-old boy was stabbed over 100 times. And then they set him on fire. But remember, Donald Trump made up all that stuff about MS-13 gang members coming through, too. Look, there are a lot of illegal aliens who are coming here because they simply want a better life. I have great compassion for them. I would be trying to do the same thing if I was them. If I was raised in a country that was a hellhole, how dare you call it that? Well, why do you want to leave then? I mean, if it's great, you don't want to leave. So at least where you're living, it's not good. If I was raised in a country where I couldn't get ahead, where my children couldn't get an education, where there was too much violence, I would do everything I could to get to this country too. I totally empathize. And for the people who want to come here and just work, please get in line to do it legally, because we can't take everybody. And I'm sorry we can't take everybody, but we can't. And if we get to the point where we don't have what this country is all about anymore, then how can we help anyone? It's the same thing with you. It's very hard to help somebody when you're broke. Have you ever tried to loan money to somebody when you're broke? You can't do it. So you can't destroy what you have to help other people. You can only do so much. So for the people who are trying to get here, I say, please come legally. You come here legally, God bless you. I wish you all the best. I'm a first-generation American. But when my grandma, my aunt, and my mom came over, they had a sponsor here in the United States of America. My great-uncle, who was an American serviceman. And they got to live in his basement while my grandma took in sewing and cleaning until she got a job at General Motors. They never took any money from the government. They never got on welfare. It was totally in the positive direction. That's how it's supposed to work. So you have that group that's just trying to come in because they just want a better life, and I have great empathy for them. But then there are also people who are coming, and they're gang members. There are people who are bringing in drugs. There are people engaged in human trafficking. That is true. And here we go. Here's what's happening in some of these neighborhoods. This 16-year-old boy who fled MS-13 in El Salvador was trying to leave the gang, according to his mom. And that's why they killed him. But remember, Trump made it up. There's no such thing as MS-13 in America. Trump was just making it up. Police did say they've arrested 5 MS-13 members in connection with the slaying. 3 of them are adults. They're under arrest for first-degree murder. Another is 16, but charged as an adult, and another is under arrest in Maryland. And police say he is the gang leader. The victim was Jackson Chicas. His mother said he was trying to leave the gang, and that's why they killed him. Stabbed him over 100 times and lit him on fire. NBC affiliate says that MS-13 is active across the United States. The police investigating the murder said this clique of MS-13 operates in Fairfax, Virginia, and the murder took place at the gang leader's home. Stabbed over 100 times and set on fire because he was trying to leave the gang. They said this also happens when people refuse to join the gang. There was a machete hacking and stabbing just last week, murder by MS-13 for that exact reason. He would not join the gang. Nah, Trump just makes it up. Totally made up. I mean, come on. That doesn't really happen. And you want to know how crazy it's gotten? In Laguna Beach, California, the city council had approved changing the white police cars to becoming white and black police cars. And where it says police, it was going to be surrounded by an American flag. Sounds pretty cool, right? Oh, no. The flag design is very controversial in Laguna Beach because there's discussion about whether that new theme properly reflects the community. Huh? It's the United States. What do you mean? Well, the American flag graphic, it's dividing residents. Some are praising it, but others say it's too aggressive. No, it's the American flag behind the word police in an American city. Oh, it's too aggressive. Too aggressive for whom? Well, illegal aliens and immigrants and people who are visiting. They might. If I go to France and I see the French flag, I don't think it's too aggressive. If I went to China and saw the Chinese flag, I wouldn't think it was too aggressive. But in the United States, look, if you're coming to the United States, isn't it because you love America? And if not, then why are we letting you in? That's the other thing. I mean, if you hate America, if the American flag to you is aggression, then why are you coming? If that's a problem for you, then don't come. Period. Well, that's a very ethnocentric way to look at it, Greg. You're damn right it is. I actually love this country. And if you're trying to come to it for all the benefits that it has, then you should love the country or you shouldn't come. After hearing the criticism and acknowledging that the image they approved didn't quite match the final results, officials agreed to reconsider their decision on the cars. Wow. Artist Kerry Woodburn says it's shocking to see the boldness of the design. We have such an amazing community of artists here, and I thought the aesthetic didn't really represent our community. It feels very aggressive. You live in a community that doesn't feel like the American flag represents you, then why are you in America? Attorney Jennifer Welsh-Zider says the police cars are exceptional. Says, look, the people who are against it, they're so filled with hatred towards this and the office of the President of the United States and the current occupant of that office that they can't see through their current biases to realize that a police vehicle with the American flag is the ultimate American expression. Bingo. And Councilman Peter Blake says people are screaming that the American flag on the police car is somehow or another hurting people's feelings who might be immigrants or visitors. No. It's the United States of America. The American flag should never make someone feel bad unless they just don't like the country. Well, Greg, you just don't understand. It stands for all these horrible things. It stands for racism. It stands for hate. It stands for Trump. No, it doesn't. The United States of America flag, I don't care who's in office. I don't care who's the president. The American flag stands for the ideals of America. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and that they're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That idea should not offend anybody. And if it offends you, you're in the wrong place. 844-DIG-CHAD gets you on board the program. 844-DIG-CHAD. My name is Greg Knapp. I'm in for Chad Benson. Have you ever thought about going ziplining on one of those really, really big, long ones when you're, on a trip, maybe to Mexico or Thailand or something? You need to hear this story. I'll hit it in just a second. Greg Knapp in for Chad on the Chad Benson Show.
Deep states? No. Deep doo-doo? Yeah. The Chad Benson Show.
My name's Greg Knapp. I'm in for Chad on the Chad Benson Show. 844-DIG-CHAD, thechadshow.com, online. Do you like doing the zipline thing? I love the zipline, and I've done it in several places in the United States. My brother's family went down to, I think it was Costa Rica, and they did the zipline, and they loved it. I would love to do that in a foreign country, but I've always been a little bit nervous because I remember right after I did the parasailing, I did that down in Key West. I remember like a couple weeks after I did it, somebody died parasailing in Mexico because the guy got too close to a building and the wind just came up out of nowhere and it whipped her around and she slammed into a building because they don't have the same kind of regulations on who can do that in some of these other countries. And they don't have the same kind of regulations on how often you check the equipment, yada, yada, yada. So I'm thinking the zip line and the bungee jump, if I'm going to do that and truly risk my life, I think I want to do it somewhere in the United States of America where I know that they actually get inspected from time to time. Just kind of let the buyer beware. If I'm down somewhere where I know they don't have those kind of regulations, I'm probably not going to do that. Well, it happened here. Northern Thailand on Saturday, a Canadian tourist wanted to do this really cool zip line. 300 feet off the ground. 25-year-old, vacationing with his girlfriend and friends. Says, all right, I'm doing the zip line. Yep, the zip line cable snapped in northern Thailand. It's called the Flight of the Gibbon. It's now been shut down for a police investigation. It was also shut down for a little while in 2016 after 3 Israeli tourists survived a collision and fall. It's a 3-mile zip line. Now, there's 33 platforms, so, it's not three miles all at once. But the cable broke right after the guy began the course. He's about 300 feet up. Yeah, I think I'm skipping anything like that in Thailand. What are you saying? You're trying to say that Thailand is like a third world country or something? I'm just saying that there are certain things I'm not going to trust to countries that I'm not so sure are, really following through on some of these things. It's kind of like, are you going to eat that taco from the taco truck in Mexico compared to are you going to eat that taco from the taco truck in L.A.? I'd rather have the taco truck from the taco truck in L.A. Maybe it's just me. All right? Oh, hey, the Notre Dame story continues to percolate. Notre Dame, Greg. All right, sorry. The good news is Father Fournier went in there and grabbed a bunch of stuff. He grabbed the Crown of Thorns. They've got the Blessed Sacrament out. They've got the cops, the firefighters. They formed a human chain, and they saved some of the most precious artwork, the Tunic of St. Louis, and more. So they saved an awful lot of stuff. The windows, the really, really pretty, beautiful, artistic windows, those survived the fire. Only one firefighter was injured. It's awesome. And the cross in the middle of Notre Dame Cathedral was saved as well. A lot of good news coming out of there, and what was, of course, a horrible, horrible situation. I also wanted to get you this story. A principal has now apologized for making a girl cover up her Make America Great Again shirt. It's like every day there's a new story like this. There's also a story of a West African immigrant, and he was walking with a Make America Great Again hat in public, and he got attacked for it. That was in Germantown, Maryland. The principal had to apologize for the girl to making her cover up. It was supposed to be a America Day celebration day, and he made her cover it up. He's kind of apologized, where he said, I want to fully acknowledge my error in judgment and sincerely apologize if my actions were misinterpreted and offended anyone. That was never my intention. It's not about offending somebody. You violated her First Amendment rights. This stuff's getting crazy, man. My name's Greg Knapp, in for Chad Benson. This is The Chad Benson Show.
This is The Chad Benson Show.